Tidal waves displaced land at Keta Aflao stretch of the Volta region and coastline from Tema Naval Base to Paradise Beach.
And also coming up in this bulletin, 5 accused persons arrested for their alleged role in Konongo Senior High School student stabbing.
Former U.S. President Barack Obama says the world must leave a better planet for the next generation as climate change conference continues with financial pledges to do more to mitigate climate change.
And we are grateful that you chose us here on GBC News and also on GTV, even as we bring you News Hour here on GBC News. My name is Abdul Hayi Mumin. The news is streaming live also on our website at www.gbcghanaonline.com and also on Facebook on the page of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Robert Frimpong Manso will help us with the sign language translation, and I'm here with
Rahmatu Awokra Mahmoud Jawando.
In our first story, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, has left Accra for Praia de Santiago, the port city and capital of Cape Verde.
President Akufo-Addo will attend the inauguration of President-elect Jose Maria Neves on Tuesday, November 9th, as special guest. The president-elect previously served as the Prime Minister of Cape Verde from 2001 to 2016. He is a member of the African Party for the Independence of Cape Verde. President Akufo-Addo is expected back on 10th November 2021.
And in other news, a delegation of chiefs from the overlord of the Mamprogo traditional area and paramount chief of the Mamprusi people, the Nayiri Nabogu Mahami Abdullahi, on Monday afternoon were at the Jubilee House, as tradition demands, to say thank you to President Akufo-Addo for being with them during the burial of Hajia Mariama Bawumia, mother of Vice President Dr. Mahmudu Bawumia at Wale in the Northeast region.
A month ago, the Vice President, Mother Hajia Mariama Bawumia, passed at age 81. The funeral arrangement and final rites for Hajia Mariama Bawumia took place there weeks ago at Wale, and among the dignitaries to bid her farewell was the President, Nana Akufo-Addo. The delegation from Nayiri was at the Jubilee House in appreciation to President Akufo-Addo for his presence at the funeral at Wale, led by a senior elder of the overlord of the Mamprogo traditional area, Mbatarana John Guma.
We are here to express the Nigerians' sincere appreciation for you making time to be with us when we were mourning, celebrating our father, the late Hajia Mariama Bawumia. Your coming made the funeral unique. It showed that you have great concern and committed to Mamprogo and to the Vice President. You were mourning with him at the time he was also mourning, so you had time to come. And your coming demonstrated how committed you are to Mamprogo and to your Vice.
President Akufo-Addo was grateful to the Nayiri for the reception from the Mamprogo traditional area during the funeral.
My presence at the funeral, for me, it was a duty. Lady was a mother to all of us. Treated me impeccably. The few times I got to know her in the latter stage of her life, but her treatment of me, I can have no complaints at all. So it was important for me also to express my appreciation for the way she was to me and to her son, with whom I've been working in close quarters these last 5 years in Ghana.
A Kokumba Education Endowment Fund, KEEF, has been formally launched in Accra to generate funds to support needy but brilliant students of Kokumba descendants. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who set the fund in motion, said the fund's focus Kokumba is on investment in education for people of Nkpankpando and also to encourage the youth to pursue higher education.
The Kokumba Youth Association, KOYA, is driving the Kokumba Education Endowment Fund. It will solicit funds from all Kokumbas for the purpose of developing education in the area. The group says the lives of many brilliant but needy students in the area have been wasted simply because the financial backbone to support them to pursue higher education is not available. These and many other hurdles confronting the Kokumba youth will be addressed by the fund. The chairman of the Kokumba Education Endowment Fund Management Committee, Professor Justice Baole, was optimistic the fund will spur indigents on to contribute and support needy Kokumba youth to get sound education.
If there is any single thing that can level us and make sure that we do no longer have rich and poor people's children, it is education. And many of us that I have mentioned have become first-generation scholars in our families. And through the contribution of education, we are contributing to building not only our families, but Kupapa and as well as Ghana. And so the need for us to be able to support young people is obvious.
The Minister for Defense, Dr. Dominic Nituwu, appealed to all to contribute to build a solid fund to improve on the educational fortunes in the area. The running mate for the NDC in the 2020 general election, Professor Nana Jinupokwa, in remarks on behalf of former President John Mahama, said the fund will come in handy to many needy students.
KOYA demonstrates that we need equity and not necessarily equality in the disbursement of support. Some need more than the other. Some don't even require what we are giving them because they are capable of providing more. There is a need for a nationally shared, articulated vision of how we wish to see our country. What should Ghana look like in 20 years' time? What should be the relationship between education and our development plans? These questions must be addressed in both horizontal and vertical ways, and in relation to other sectors from education.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, said human capital is key in transforming economies and not natural resources, hence the need to invest in human resource.
Kokumba Education Endowment Fund will therefore serve a good national purpose. I therefore wholeheartedly and gladly endorse the Kokumba Education Endowment Fund. I passionately urge all well-meaning individuals and groups across Ghana and beyond to generously donate to this fund to help educate the brilliant but needy Kokumba students.
He commended the Kokumba people for this initiative, which has the potential of giving Kokumba youth a leg up in life. He said the government recognizes the importance of education and therefore rolled out the free SHS policy, which is a huge relief to many parents.
In other news, hundreds of residents were on Sunday displaced when tidal waves hit some communities along the Keita-Aplao stretch in the Volta region. The situation has so far caused most of the residents to salvage some of their belongings onto portions of the main road while they wait for the water to recede. Meanwhile, some officials from the district office of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, have visited parts of the affected areas to assess the situation.
Loga area, the situation is bad. About 700 people have been directly affected and displaced. about 150 houses flooded as a result of the tidal waves, which from his estimation constitutes about 70% of the people in that area. And they've moved to the Keta area. The report, it's even worse than the Anglaga situation. Some people have had to put up on the main routes. It's worrying. We've been able to get them some of the classrooms and other, but it seems like we need to do more than what is happening now. So the situation along the coast in the Keta enclave is not too good. Based on the assessment that is made by our regional director, I think, that would determine what kind of relief items we need to send to them immediately.
Meanwhile, the coastline from Tema Naval Base to Paradise Beach was also heavily hit by a tidal wave. The waves carried away a public pipe that serves residents of Tema Newtown and properties of residents.
This morning, we woke up to the news of tidal waves affecting the people of the Volta region, including Adina, Salakope, and Amutinu. But I can confirm to you that we are coming to you live from Tema Newtown, where the residents here have also been severely affected by the tidal waves. In a moment, I'll be showing you some visuals, but before I do that, I will also be talking to residents, including the assemblyman of the area. The effect is really devastating, including a public water stand that has been washed away. Some properties have also been told that have been washed away, including some homes also been washed away. In a minute, we are talking with the assemblyman, including the residents and other people who will express their dissatisfaction with what is happening here. Yeah, so can you tell us what the situation is in terms of the tidal waves effect on your people here?
We have experienced some before, but this one is very tougher than what we have been experiencing, and then we don't know what is coming tomorrow.
Okay, so can you tell us about the effect it's having on the people here?
It's having a lot of effect on the people, because as I told you, we have a community pipe here that the people come to shower. As we are speaking now, the good people over here don't have any place to shower now, and I don't know how they manage to shower. Okay, so this is the main thing, and then we have another business where they smoke fish. Yeah, so some people have lost their firewood that they used to smoke the fish. Some have lost their net that they used to smoke the fish, and then they call it gado. The oven too has collapsed, and some of them too have lost their business as well. Nadmo was here yesterday, so we are looking forward to hear from Nadmo.
Yeah, I am seeing some sort of rubbish behind us. What is that doing here?
It's a rubbish done by the community members. Yeah, not only the Agbo people, but across the Mama here. They have been dumping the rubbish here. But if you can see, it has served as sea defense. That is what we used to do to mount our sea defense. But we are not happy with the situation that this community will be a place that will be taking refuge from all the community. When cholera broke out, it affects my people in the community.
Many of the places are destroyed, not here alone. But this one is terrible for our grandmother. Imagine if it were you. And before you, maybe you are lodging at Accra, before you come to grandmother's house, look what happened.
These are young people who are frustrated with the situation. They want government to build a sea defense for them.
The Works and Housing Minister, Mr. Francis Asensobwachi, says government acknowledges the urgent need to permanently address the devastating effects of tidal waves in affected towns in the Ketu South constituency and other communities. At a media briefing, he said his outfit is engaging the Ministry of Finance to raise funds for the implementation of the second phase of the coastal protection works in other prone communities. Operadakon has more on the story.
In July 2015, the Ministry of Works and Housing began the construction of protection works along the coastal stretch from Blekuso towards Agavaji under the Blekuso Coastal Protection Project. The first phase of the project, which protects 4.3 kilometers of the coastal stretch, was completed in July 2019, with over thousands of persons displaced and rendered homeless after tidal waves swept through their homes. The Ministry of Works and Housing says it is working to undertake the second phase of the project to protect communities.
I wish to sincerely empathize with our people whose properties worth a fortune have been ravaged. To this end, the ministry has commenced urgent steps to implement the second phase of the project. The ministry has finalized the evaluation of the relevant proposals to start works under the second phase of the project.
The Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Asensubwachi, says the phase 2 of the Blekusu Coastal Protection Project will not only protect lives but also protect the beaches and its environs against encroachment by the sea and production base of the area through enhanced fishing activities.
While government makes all the necessary effort to avert these unfortunate perennial occurrences, I wish to appeal to our coastal residents to avoid any practices that expose them to vagaries of the rising sea levels.
Meanwhile, the ministry says there have been reported cases of sand winning, uprooting of mangrove along the coastal stretch. Mr. Asensubwachi, however, says that the investments by government cannot yield the needed protection if people continue to engage in such practices. For GBC News, Sofri Wadakon reporting.
The Volta River Authority and the Environmental Protection Agency have engaged stakeholders on the construction of the Pualugu multi-purpose dam at Zebila in the Boku West District of the Upper East region. It was to seek input and address concerns before the full stop on the final document.
The public and stakeholders had the opportunity to share their thoughts and concerns at this meeting, collation of which will form the basis for the final document to be accepted to all involved in the project. Already studies, surveys and designs have been completed, whilst efforts are underway to finalize all compensation and settlement issues in addition to legitimate acquisition of the land. In November 2019, President Akufo-Addo cut the sod for work to start on the dam as a permanent solution to perennial floods in the region. It is also to generate electricity and promote irrigation-driven agricultural activities. The public hearing is part of the build-up to the start of the actual construction of the $993 million project. The manager in charge of sustainability activities of the construction of the Pualugu multi-purpose dam, Mr. Jonathan Hagen, said the project rice output will replace 16% of the current rice imports, and the project maize output will replace up to 32% of the current maize imports.
The districts are East Mamprusi, West Mamprusi, and Bunkurugu. These are the districts that are going to have the effect on the dam. But the dam itself will be, the main dam will be constructed at Krugu in the West Mamprusi district. And then the rear irrigation dam will be constructed at Sariba, also in the West Mamprusi district.
Mr. Jonathan Hagen spoke about issues raised by stakeholders at the 3 public hearings organized in different towns.
Main concern has been payment of compensation to their crops, their lands, and then their resettlement. And then when the physical construction is going to start.
The chief of Maligabu, a community in the Garu district, Naba Daniel Aditi, was also the 2013 Upper East Regional Best Farmer, appealed to government to engage competent people to handle the resettlement issues.
Government to take immediate steps, demarcate the lands. This is your land. It's how many acres? 2 acres or 3 acres. I'm going to pay you this amount. This one you are taking 4 or 5 acres. You are taking this amount. That one, the farmer will be satisfied.
More than 50 communities have been educated on the benefit to derive from the project on completion. The Pualugu Dam site is located on the White Volta, approximately 30 kilometers southwest of Bogatanga, across the Upper East region and the Northeast region.
In other news, the Konongo District Court in the Ashanti region has remanded 5 accused persons arrested in connection with the death of the first-year male student of the Konongo Dumasi Senior High School. The suspects have been sent to a juvenile detention center at Joso in the Asante Akem South municipality to reappear on 15th November 2021. Meanwhile, the counsel for the suspects, Mr. Richard Edudakos, has been speaking to GBC News.
With the offense of murder, and as the Constitution stipulates, it's quite unfortunate that children at this stage will commit such a heinous crime. But it is an alleged offense until it's proven by the court of competent jurisdiction. At this moment, we prayed for bail for them, but the court refused the bail application on grounds that they are still assisting in investigations. But having regard for the Juvenile Justice Act, they are supposed to appear before the court in a week's time. So a week from today, they are coming to court on the 15th. Then the court will continue with the processes. The court has referred the matter to the Supervising High Court in Kumasi to ensure that the right processes are followed because of their ages. Because this is a court that is not having jurisdiction of the matter. When it comes to murder, the only court that can have jurisdiction over it is the High Court. So they will go to the committal process from here, and then when they go to the High Court, their plea will be taken.
The case involving the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, has been adjourned to November 16, 2021. This is because the legislator is out of the country on parliamentary duties. The case was called at the Kaneshi District Court on Monday, November 8, 2021, but had to be held in chambers. Mr. Sosu on October 25 led his constituents on a demonstration to get their bad roads fixed, but was later accused of unlawfully blocking a public highway and causing destruction to public property. The Ghana Police Service secured a judicial order for the Member of Parliament for Medina, Mr. Francis Xavier Sosu, to appear in court on November 8, 2021. This followed several failed attempts by the police to arrest the legislator, while attempts to invite Mr. Sosu through the Speaker of Parliament were denied.
Well, meanwhile, some members of the constituency say the demonstration held on October 25, 2021 is yielding results because the contractor responsible for the construction of the road is back on site.
Yeah, let me say we're grateful to Almighty God. If the demonstration that we embarked, the good residents of Medina, speaking to Aimensa, Kweyman, Damfa, Adotema, Otinibi, and then getting to Amaya. As I speak to you, the demonstration that we embarked with the support of our MP, Honorable Lawyer Sosu, has yielded some positive results. As of last week, Tuesday, the contractor has moved to site. And as I speak to you now, right from here, when you move to the site, you will see or notice that the contractor is on the road, and is grading the entire road. So, in the first place, you let the citizens of the Republic to understand that out of the demonstration that we embarked, there is a resource, there is a testimony. Because had that not been the demonstration, by now the contractor wouldn't have been on site. But because of the demonstration that we embarked through the help of the residents, now we have gotten the results and the contractor is on site and is grading the road. But we are also hoping that it shouldn't be a 9-day wonder where he will just grade the road and just leave it like that and then leave the site. No. What we expect to be done on that road is they must first of all construct the drains on that stretch of road and then make sure they asphalt it. That is the reason why that we embark on that demonstration. And we thank to Almighty Allah God that is yielding a positive.
A research project titled Increasing Access to Quality Education for Rural and Marginalized Children in West Africa has been launched in Accra. The project will be a comparative study of accelerated education and girls-focused programs in Ghana, Nigeria and Sierra Leone. The Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Edutrum, says government will not relent in its effort to implement the recommendations of research in education for national growth.
The research is a cross-country study of accelerated education programs and girls' empowerment models. It will focus on vulnerable children and youth in rural settings across West Africa. The 3-year research is being conducted by Associates for Change in Ghana, Dayland Development Consultants in Sierra Leone, and Center for the Study of the Economies of Africa in Nigeria, supported by the International Development Research Center.
Quality basic education is a game changer, but that it takes many to facilitate a meaningful education for children in some of the most difficult learning environments.
Ghana's Education Minister, Dr. Yosei Duchum, said in the last 20 years, accelerated education and girls-focused programs have been implemented in Ghana as an innovative strategy to address rural-urban disparities in education, and this has proven to be effective models in addressing the problems.
We don't want to implement policies that we do not anticipate the end results. We want to use the policies that will come out of here, influence how we do some things, and begin to look at how we change this system once and for all.
Mr. Duchum stated that the evaluation of the Complementary Basic Education Program, CBE, implemented from 2013 to 2018 demonstrated positive results across all targets. Out of the 248,556 out-of-school children enrolled in CBE program, over 90% completed the accelerated education program and over 93% have transitioned into formal education over the 5-year period. For GBC News, Ofeyiwa Darko reporting.
And if you just joined us, this is a news hour here on GBC News, also live on GTV. We're taking a short break. When we return, Esther Edu Ohumehu will be here and she will update us what's going on in the world of business. Please stay with us.
1 to 2021, the journey to our centenary has been amazingly well.
This is Business brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. My name is Esther Eidu Ohumu. The news continues after the break.
Can be anything. Who will you become? When you can go anywhere and never be alone, how far will you go? When your voice can reach every ear in the world, who will you inspire? When your money can travel faster and further, who will it reach? When you can tell a story in every language, which one will you tell? When you don't need permission to turn your dreams into reality, you go for it. Whatever it is, wherever it is, go. And when you think you've reached your limit, we'll keep you going. Let's go.
Hi guys, today we're coming to you live from the new home of one of Ghana's biggest boxing talents. Now, Bukumaku, thank you so much for having us in your new home. Please tell us, is this your house?
Yes, this is my better house in the nation. When I finish this house, you see the whirlpool all over the world.
Whirlpool?
Yes.
That's quality.
It's a sensibility. The quality will bring you knockouts and the price will shock you.
This your kitchen is very beautiful. I can see whirlpool everywhere.
Yes, this is my kitchen. Almost 16 years I use the whirlpool from Bukom to come here. Anywhere, whirlpool is the best.
Wow, so it be here where Ajele Van Damme will feel cook there.
Yes, abundance of water, the foolish members these days. Here with the chop. Don't disturb your gum shade. I told you already. Whirlpool is the best affordable in this nation. Everybody say Banku.
Thank you so much, Bukom Baku, for opening our eyes to quality.
Whirlpool, sensing the difference.
Staying on, Ghana will not return to the IMF, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta insists. This was in response to projections by some economists that Ghana's public debt, which as of July 2021 stood at 332 billion cedis, could push the country into the arms of the IMF.
We may be heading for the IMF once again. Is there a possibility looking at our debts?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're asking me, and I'm telling you absolutely not. Why do you think we're going? Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, but more of a Eurobond rather? A Eurobond again next year?
We've gone to the Eurobond market, I guess 4 out of the 5 years since we came. And so those are always alternatives that we consider. Yeah.
Okay, so fuel prices are going up. The ordinary man on the street is feeling the pinch.
Why are fuel prices going up?
Because crude prices are hitting the roof on the global market.
Okay, so what
is there anything we can do about it? Pushing consumers.
I think we reduced some of the build-up taxes, but it's good that you are clear the global prices, are having that effect. I'm not sure that it would, from the discussions that you hear from Saudi and OPEC and Co., I think they're going to hold on to restricting supply, which means that we're going to have this imported impact on our standards of living, which is a difficulty.
The African Development Bank, AFDB, is concerned about Africa's rising debt, which in most countries has reached unsustainable levels. The IMF typically recommends that African countries keep their debt below the threshold of 60% to GDP.
African debt levels have been on the rise for the past few years, and the COVID-19 pandemic slowed down the growth that is needed to keep the biggest borrowers solvent. Zambia, with a debt of 120% of GDP in 2020, was the first country to hit a crisis, defaulting on its Eurobond in October. Analysts are also sounding the alarm about Angola, 120.3% debt to GDP, and the Republic of Congo, 104.5%. Secretary General of the AFDB, Professor Vincent Imehele, is worried the trend is inhibiting lending to some member countries.
No, the bank does work with member countries to deal with the issue of sustainability of debt. The question is the ability to sustain your debt. Of course, debt to GDP ratio is something the bank takes into account to determine whether or not the country in question has the ability to service its debt. So the bank is concerned and making sure that countries do not take more debt than they are able to service.
Meanwhile, Ghana has signed an MOU with the bank to host the 2022 edition of the bank's annual general meeting. It will be the second time the country is hosting the program.
Host country is required to facilitate smooth entry of participants into the country, make available suitable accommodation, provide safety and security of all participants, provide venues for all the meetings, including office spaces for bank officials, provide ground transportation, avail a fully functional medical system, stable internet connectivity and other necessary equipment, as well as accord the necessary privileges and immunities to all participants.
Ghana's Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta emphasized government's readiness to host the program.
This is not just another meeting, and the historic nature of it for one country for the first time to be doing it, twice in a row must mean something for us, and we should take it seriously.
Ghana is one of the best performing economies among the AFDB member list and was recently declared the best investment destination in West Africa.
The Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana says the country will have to incorporate marketing and entrepreneurship in its educational curriculum in order to realize the full benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Ghana's youthful population is fast rising, with tertiary institutions producing more than 400,000 graduates to the labor market every year. Considering the significant number, it is clear that the country's growth and development rest on the youth. The CIMG says the African Continental Free Trade Area is a good platform to create decent jobs and entrepreneurship opportunities for the teeming youth in Ghana. But to achieve that, the state will have to embed marketing and entrepreneurship in its educational curriculum at all levels of education. Speaking at the 32nd Annual National Marketing Performance Awards in Accra, the president of the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, Dr. Daniel Kasati, said the time has come to change the orientation of the youth from over-reliance on the public sector for jobs and focus on setting up their own businesses.
Nation Ghana as a corporate brand will be repositioned based on its comparative advantages. This, we believe, will serve as the strongest signal to prompt businesses to channel their resources into producing goods and services for which Ghana as a collective has comparative advantages.
The 2021 edition of the Annual National Marketing Performance Awards brought together industry players and experts from diverse sectors of the economy under one roof. The chief executives of MTN Ghana, Mr. Selim Adadifo, and Business and Financial Times publications, Dr. Mrs. Edith Dankwa, were adjudged Marketing Man and Marketing Woman of the Year, respectively.
I'm particularly excited about the future that lies ahead for us. And I'd like to assure the CIMG, and I'd like to assure the staff of MTN that you can count on me to continue to focus not only on investments to drive connectivity, but on efforts and investments that result in making Ghana a much more prepared economy to take advantage of what AFCFTA.
In the business category, Hollard Insurance Ghana won the Insurance Company of the Year. FWF Microfinance took home the Best Microfinance Company of the Year. Silverstar Auto bagged the Motor Firm of the Year award, and Kasapreko Kuma Drinks received the Emerging Brand of the Year award. Accra is playing host to a 5-day Banjul Accord Group Accident Investigation Agency meeting in Accra. At the opening, a Deputy Minister for Transport, Mr. Frederick Obeng-Adom, said Ghana is poised to establish the necessary institutions to build capacity to ensure compliance with regional and international standards.
The Banjul Accord Group Accident Investigation Agency, Bagaya, is a body that strengthens cooperation and collaboration between member states in respect to investigation of accidents and serious incidents to develop a common set of regulations. The agency takes into account delegation of the conduct of investigations to Bagaya to develop common guidance materials and investigator manuals and implements procedures for sharing of information on accidents and serious incidents. One challenge the agency is facing is meeting its financial obligations. This is hindering the manpower training, equipment procurement for investigation to also assist member states in having their own investigation body. Recently, Ghana and Sierra Leone have established their own independent accident investigation organizations. Liberia has also agreed to do the same to put its aviation sector on the global map. The Bagaya Commissioner, Mr. Charles Irekefe Ehue, said the agency is interested in strengthening the sub-region to ensure safer skies bereft of accidents.
The government of Ghana remains committed and will continue to provide the necessary support and policy directions to ensure that the AIB is more capacitated, strengthened, and strategically positioned to perform its functions effectively. Ghana has one of the safest and secured airspace. We are determined as a country to remain and maintain this enviable standard.
The Deputy Minister for Transport, Mr. Frederick Obeng-Adom, said the development of every sector hinges on transportation, including the aviation sector, which is the quickest means of connection between countries and continents.
Bagaya is aware of the challenges that came with the COVID-19 pandemic, from loss of funds for airline to all other ways of the aviation sector. For our report and safety recommendations to be truly objective and diverge from external influence, we have to sustain our obligations to create the pool we need to carry out safety-related activities.
Bagaya says it will continue to work with its members to make the sub-regional airspace safer.
And that was business brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. Thanks for watching.
Safer future. I see how every citizen can have access to basic health care. Others may see a healthcare entrepreneur, but I see myself as Ghana's frontline, keeping the nation safe. I am Rosalind Ahim, owner of My Dream Plus Limited.
I swore an oath on 7th January to be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana. And that is exactly what I'm doing in the fight against Galamsey.
Yenja, yenja, Galamsey. Yenja, yenja, Galamsey. Yenja, 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 Galamsey. Say Ghana. Ghana, mine, Emerna so. Galamsey, SSA, Jayo. My Kambum, na ye mine say a shea, ye pepper. Yenja, yenja, Galamsey. Yenja, yenja, Galamsey. Yenja, 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 Galamsey, say Ghana. Galam Sinti, yes you are Seo. Galam Sinti, forest are Seo. Galam Sinti, in Kofoe, say a bunch of wow, bedem. Yenjai, Galam say. Yenjai, Galam say. Yenjai, Galam say Ghana. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, man in Seo. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, man in Seo. Yeah, my Ghana, yes, man in Seo. Galam say master. Galam say master. Galam say master. Galam say master. Galam say master.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the Energy segment. I'm Dominic Konoji. In its quest to broaden and enhance solar energy use in the sub-region, the West African Power Pool WAP is training senior energy technical officers from member countries on how to manage solar energy generation facilities. The 5-day certification course is taking place at the Volta River Authority VRA's Training Academy at Akuse.
Abundant sunlight in Africa, solar energy readily comes to mind as a cost-effective source of energy. ECOWAS created the West African Power Pool WAP to integrate national power systems of member states into a unified regional electricity market where power will be provided regularly and reliably at competitive cost to the people in the sub-region. The WAP representative, Mr. Francis Sempori, speaking through an interpreter, said the sub-region is deficient in its human resource capacity in terms of renewable energy, especially in the maintenance of facilities.